Okay, we talked a little bit about me. We talked about the cribbage board. We talked about the points. Now we need to talk about how you get points to mark on that cribbage board. Like I said, cribbage is a series of very short card games played with only 4 cards. But when you deal out a cribbage hand, you deal 6 cards to each player. And that player then determines which are the best 4 cards to keep in their hand. This is important because after you play out this series of cards, they're still on the table sitting in front of you. You don't throw them in a pile or mix them together. You keep your cards in front of you as you play. After the play is over and that particular match has been resolved, then you go back and get to count the points that you kept in your hand. Now, those other 2 cards get discarded into the center, and that's called the crib, hence the cribbage. The crib is a whole nother set of hands. Well, not another set of hands, another set of cards that belongs to the dealer of each round. So, dealer has his hand, you have your hand, and the dealer also gets those cards that you discarded 2 of and they discarded 2 of into the crib. After the end, they count that also as part of their score. And the deal alternates back and forth, so everybody gets a pretty equal chance at having the crib. But if it is your crib as the dealer, you want to keep good cards in your hand and you want to keep good cards in the crib. Your opponent, however, wants to keep only good cards in their hand and they want to throw you crappy cards that won't give you any points. So it becomes kind of a back and forth give and take, and that's what comes with just learning the scoring after time. But now each card, we talked about cribbage being played to 121 points, and it's a series of small card games that happen to reach that, and each of those small card games is played to 31 points, and you may play a couple 31 point hands with those 4 cards that you have at the time. So it might not be over in just one hand, it might be a couple hands before you finish playing all the cards that you have. And this will continue on all the way around the board. But what you're doing is getting your score from the points on the cards. All the cards are worth their face value. Like the 3 is worth 3, the 5 is worth 5, the 9 is worth 9. But 10s and above are all worth 10 points. So when you're counting scores along the way, you're counting, let's say, 7 points, 8 points, that's a total of 15. I point out 15 because it's really critical to the point count. Every combination of cards that you have in your hand or that you play as you're playing the board, if it adds up to exactly 15, you get 2 points to peg on that board. So let's say I have this hand. I have a 9 and a 6, which adds up to 15. I have an 8 and a 7, which adds up to 15. So that's 15, 2. 2 more is 4. So I count it as 15, 2, 15, 4 when I'm counting my hands. So I would then peg 4 on the board. However, this hand has a bonus. It also has 6, 7, 8, and 9. That's a run of 4. And for a run of 3 or a run of 4, you get 1 point for each card in the run. So I already had 15-2, 15-4, and then I get 4 points for having a run. So this hand is a total of 8 points. Now, that's the confusing part. And it will come to you, trust me, after you play for a while, after you watch some play happening, which will be done shortly. Thanks.